go ahead and
highlights.
start us off.
It's nice and warm.
Yes.
Did everybody practice again today? I think I tried to count everybody out there.
Yeah, everyone's out there but Theo.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Theo's the only one who didn't practice due to his finger. So, but Luka's here, did great. He's ready to go. Marquise practice. Everybody, yeah. Who else?
Reggie.
Trey and Reggie. Everybody. Yep. So everybody practice.
Good deal. And at this point, looking ahead to the stretch run, at what point, I know it's sometimes different for everybody, at what point do you really start to look at the standings and to follow how other teams are doing or to follow where you guys are sitting?
Yeah, I think you're gonna look at it now coming out of the break to see where you are, see who's ahead of you, who's behind you, and then there's games every other day, and so it's something that you'll probably look at mid-March just to see where you are. We have 23 games left. After this, there'll be 10 on the road and 10 at home. So we just have to, take each game one by one and understand there's going to be some wins, there's going to be some losses, and at the end of 82, you played them all, and that's going to be your seeding. So right now, Utah's ahead of us. We all know we play them twice here in less than 10 days. So two big games, but they're on the schedule. It's not life or death. It's where do we, can we get our rhythm back at the same rhythm we would like before the break? But sometimes a break, it takes a little time to get that rhythm back. But again, we believe that we got questions to answer with 2 new players. And so get them in the fold so that we can have those answers, by mid-March. So then from that point on, we can start focusing on, ramping up for the playoffs.
Is there any, you mentioned getting back in the rhythm, is there anything that you've learned over the years about how you can help guys get back to that in these practices, or anything you do specifically to kind of revamp things after a week?
Well, today's practice, yesterday we did a lot of running and shooting, but there wasn't a lot of contact, and today was more contact to get the bumps, some of the fatigue, just understanding game shape is different than just practice. So but I thought everybody was good. We tried to keep it going where there was no water breaks, keep everybody moving, so we can get them tired to see so that they understand how they feel. But it's, some are different. Some are ready to go. Some take a game. Some take 2 games. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully everybody's ready to go tomorrow.
Nice.
Okay, we'll move to Zoom for a couple here. Dwayne Price.
Jason, when Tyson Chandler joined you guys in 2010, you guys became more of a defensive-minded team and then went on and won the title. When you took over last summer, became the coach, did you look around and say, hey, we got to learn how to play defense if we're going to get anywhere in the playoffs?
I didn't. I thought, we would talk about defense and make it a point that just understanding the offense the last couple of years have been at a very high level, and that if we could be the middle of the pack defensively, that would put us in a position to win. Not saying we would win all the games, but defense was something that we talked about since day one, and we continue to talk about it, and the guys that bought in. I think we're 5th in defense, and so that's not easy to do in this league when everybody is scoring the ball at a high rate. So the guys have done a great job. They've been tied together, and we're going to need that, from here on out.
Okay, we got time for 2 more. Ian?
Hey, Jason. As a coach, and with this being your first year in Dallas, and you were talking about the home stretch earlier, are there specific on-court benchmarks in play that you look at to know your team is ready for when, the games are win or go home in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think, handling different situations, the Orlando situation, we had opportunity. We could use the excuse of scheduling, but we fought. We had an opportunity to win. We didn't. We come back to play Oklahoma. We had control of the game and ended up losing. But then the character of this group to come back and find a way to win the next couple games, those are the things that I look for, is how do we respond when things get hard or things don't go our way. because a lot of times it's easy to say we're ready when we're winning and things are going our way. But I look at it the opposite of when things become tough, we're not making shots or we're not playing defense. How do we respond as a group? And so those are the things that we'll look, at the next 23 games, which, are not going to be easy. But how do we respond when things are tough?
Okay, and last question from Julian.
Hey, Coach, you were part of the All-Star halftime ceremony. What was it like to get honored with some of the best to ever play the game, and any notable interactions with other NBA legends or like starstruck moments during the weekend?
It was surreal. There was a lot of talent in that room. There was a lot of guys who could score the ball. And there was a guy that could pass the ball extremely well, John Stockton. But it was just great. There was, a little talk of the small forwards, would beat up on the guards. And then there was a separation of big guards and the small guards. So that was kind of fun. But I think a lot of people have seen that moment of when MJ walked in and challenged Magic to a one-on-one. I think MJ was a little serious. But it was, you're talking about the best to ever do it in one room. It was cool to see Dennis Rodman show up on time, but he was late. But it was just incredible because you have the 75 best to ever do it. Was just remarkable. There was a little chatter about, missing Kobe, there, because this was a moment, to have someone like Kobe there with Dr. J, with Michael, with LeBron, just the best to ever do it, Mount Rushmore. So, but Jerry West, the logo's there. But I thought the Boston Celtics did it the best. Paul and KG were great. Ray was great. Kevin McHale. There was quite a few Boston Celtics there. But it was just a surreal moment. I thought Damian Lillard said it best. It was just like, it's not real, because when you play the game, it's to win and to do your best. And at the end of the day, you never think about being mentioned with some of the best to ever do it. So in a nutshell, that's what happened.
All right,
Thank you.
Coach, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. All right, we're gonna start in the room with Callie. Please raise your hand on Zoom if you have one for him.
Oh, recording in progress.
It's a little weird to interview you. I thought Jokic right next to you. I don't know.
Huh?
It's a little weird to interview you.
No balls thrown in my face this time.
Alan might have brought one. First of all, how was the chance to get a couple days away and wherever you were, not Slovenia?
It was perfect. I was in Slovenia.
Yeah, totally.
No, it was perfect, man. Might need more of those in the regular season.
That's funny. And at what point do you start to look at the standings during the season? Is it just when you get to the stretch run here? Is it throughout the season? When do you start to pay attention to where you guys rank?
I ask my teammates and the coaches, so
Okay.
they tell me. But sometimes, if I'm in the NBA app watching games, I just look at standings. Like, it doesn't mean like any time being in the season or after or between. Just when I look at NBA app, I look at the standings.
And how do you feel just kind of starting the break, or coming back from the break, I should say, going against Utah twice in like 10 days and knowing that,
Oh, really?
yeah, okay, so maybe you didn't know, but knowing
cool.
that you guys are 4-5 in the standings right now, it's very close, and it could be a first round playoff matchup about a month from now.
I mean, yeah, I think we have this tough trip. I think it's Utah, LA, and Golden State, so it's three very tough teams. So hopefully, we're ready, we play good, and it's a really important stretch.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move to Zoom. Skylar with the AP.
Luka, you averaged 41.5 those 4 games before the break, also the first 4 since the trade. How much of that was just you sort of going off, and how much of it is you all trying to figure out, what the scoring pecking order is going to be now that the roster's changed a little bit?
I mean, it was just games, I know everybody talks, it's a bit after the trade, after something, it's just games, sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't. And sometimes, you feel better, sometimes worse, you know, but I just felt good. So I think that was it for me.
Dwayne Price.
Yes, Luka, we all saw the big old hug Michael Jordan gave you at the All-Star game. What was that like, and what is your relationship with Jordan?
I mean, it's unbelievable, you know. I remember him walking into the arena, and the crowd went crazy. You know, I never seen something like that, and it's just unbelievable. You know, I said that even he knows my name was unbelievable, and you know, he's incredible.
Julian.
Yes, hey Luka, another All-Star question. What gets you most excited about All-Star Weekend, and what is maybe some of your favorite moments as of yet?
Just playing in the All-Star, man. You know, like I always say, you know, every kid want to be an All-Star in the best league in the world, and just being an All-Star is the best memory.
Coop.
Hey Luka, what is it about playing against Utah that you most are concerned with, and trying to get the best foot forward against them?
I mean, obviously they have a great team, great players. You know, it's tough to play in Utah. The crowd gets going. You know, I'm concerned about everything about Utah.
Okay, we've got two in Spanish. Eugenio.
Luka, how has your experience at All-Star Weekend changed from year to year, and what is your main goal for All-Star Weekend?
I mean, it's the same experience, you know. Players comes and go, you know. Obviously, some of them are always there, but it's the same thing, you know, every day, every All-Star.
Okay, and then Leonardo.
Luka, te saluda Leonardo Torres desde Perú, espero que estés bien. Pensando en esta segunda parte de la temporada, ¿qué crees que debe mejorar el equipo para ser un contender esta temporada?
Cambiar nada, solo seguir para adelante como estamos jugando.
How was your break?
Recording in
It
progress.
was great.
Hopefully a little bit warmer than Cleveland.
Yeah.
And how, remind me, guys, your thigh, it's been a week, the contusion?
Yeah.
Or a hip, sorry.
Hip.
How is that doing, and what kind of things did you have to work through to get to this point?
It's doing a lot better. Movement, first couple of days after I fell on it was pretty tough, and then I was, you know, a little hesitant on the arm hitting it. I just felt like I just needed a little bit of a break to let it heal up, the muscles around it heal up. It's like a bone bruise, but at the same time I use a pad and everything I needed to do to prepare to practice and hopefully a game.
And did it happen in practice? Because I feel like...
No, it happened in
Okay.
the Clippers game.
Gotcha. And looking ahead to the stretch run now, at what point do you start to look at the standings personally? Is this something that you follow throughout the season, or is it something that as it gets closer you kind of...
I mean, as it gets closer, you follow it. Throughout the season, you follow it too. You always want to see where your team is standing at and how well or how bad y'all doing in certain areas. But I mean, it's a new season right now. You know, it's less than half of the games of the season left. You know, we have to go out and, you know, be mentally prepared every game to be able, you know, to attack the rest of the season. Like I said, it's a new season for us. We just have to take it one game at a time.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move to Zoom. Chuck Cooperstein.
Hey Reggie, I'm wondering, just playing a game like this right out of the box, and especially, I know nobody's maybe really looking at the standings, but we are, I guess, and you play them 3 times in the next month, and maybe could play them the first round of the playoffs. Is this the type of game that you like to play coming out of the break? Big game, you know, big competition, as opposed to sort of easing your way back into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the type of game that I would want to play. I would say looking over my career, I probably wasn't on too many, like the last few years, I wasn't on too many great teams that, you know, had a good standing of what the playoffs were possibly looking like for us. So, I mean, it's exciting to be in this position with this different organization and, you know, how well we're playing coming down the stretch. But at the same time, it's going to be a competitive game. Every game should be competitive against us versus them, and we just have to take it one game at a time and be focused.
Do you feel like it helps you focus, and maybe over the last couple of days just at practice, just have everybody focused, knowing that there is some consequence to this game?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is some consequence to it. But at the same time, I feel like my team is prepared. I feel like coach is going to have us mentally and physically prepared for the game. And every game, you know, after even this Utah game, I mean, it's a tough stretch for us against some of the top teams in the league. So we just have to come out and be prepared and ready to play.
Okay, we got Luka standing by, so we got last question. Brad Townsend, please.
Yeah, Reggie, you've been in the league a while now and have guarded some of the top players, probably including Luka in the past. Looking at the stretch that Luka's been on, how difficult do you think it would be if you were trying to guard him right now?
We just gotta practice. It's tough for anybody to guard him. I see it on an everyday basis. He's incredible. The way he scored the ball, shoot the ball. But I mean, at the same time, he's definitely up there with one of the best players ever that I ever had to guard.